everybody, and welcome to First Chapter Friday. Today we are reading Family Game Night and Other Catastrophes by Mary E. Lambert. So we are going to read the first chapter today. Let's see. Here we go. Chapter 1. Let's see. It's hard to see sometimes, huh? Alright, now let's try. The newspaper fell on my sister at breakfast this morning, and I didn't do anything to stop it. Sometimes I have this feeling that I'm completely disconnected from my body, like I'm watching my life on TV or a dream, and it doesn't occur to me that until 10 minutes or 2 weeks later that, hey, I could have done something. I don't have to sit in the audience and watch things fall apart. But that's exactly what I did at breakfast. I just sat there, waiting to see if today would be the day of the newspapers finally fell. It was the highs in the mid to upper 70s pile that came crashing down. The newspapers are organized by weather report, and since it's almost June, Mom has been adding to the highs in the mid to upper 70s pile every day. Lately, she's had to stand on her tiptoes in order to reach the top. And this morning, before she could even add to it, it was already swaying from side to side, back and forth. It looked like a Jenga tower right before someone loses, and today Leslie was the loser. I've known for weeks now that they were bound to come crashing down. That's why I haven't sat at the head of the table since spring break. The head of the table is the best seat in the house. It's closest to the fridge, and therefore the fewest steps to the milk. Yes, I am that lazy, and apparently so is my sister. Because as soon as I switched seats, she nabbed my old one. I should have warned her not to sit there, told her why I'd changed seats, but honestly, it never occurred to me. I thought about the newspapers would probably fall on her head, and in cold, fatalistic silence, I consumed my cereal morning after morning, waiting and watching. I was on my last spoonful of Cocoa Krispies when it happened. The milk had just turned that perfect shade of brownish purple. Leslie was polishing off her Cheerios. Dad was eating his whole wheat toast, and Mom was in bed or in the shower or on the sofa, whatever she's doing whatever it is she does after making Dad's toast. Mom does leave the house every now and then, usually for trips to the grocery store when there's no one else to do it, but most of the time she prefers to stay right where she is. Thank you very much. And my brother, who never eats breakfast, at least not at home with us, had just raced out the door. "Take me with you!" I shouted at Chad as he breezed past, keys in his hand. "Denied," he said with a smile. Chad is never mean when he says no. He's never mean, period. He just isn't nice. I bet Chad doesn't even know my favorite color. His is red. "But it's the last day," I said. "I could be ready in 2 seconds. Please, please. Let me come with you. I don't want to take the—" Chad slammed the door before I could say bus. I don't know if he was upset about something or running late to pick up a friend, or maybe he just couldn't wait to get out of the house. I can relate. Whatever his reason, when I say Chad slammed the door, I mean he slammed it. A real loud window rattling, earthquake intimidating, neighbor waking slam. "That's okay, Annabelle," Leslie said to me, her back to the wobbling Jenga tower. "I like riding with you on the newspapers fell before Leslie could say bus. Crash! Thud! 100 dusty, mildewy newspapers landed in Leslie's bowl of Cheerios and sent her spoon flying. Thwump! More newspapers clobbered her on the back of her neck. Wah! Leslie made a sound like a startled goat. What's going on? Dad looked up from his toast and, ironically enough, from the newspaper he was reading. He was just in time to see his youngest nearly decapitated. Death by periodical. What a way to go. Thunk! The last newspaper fell. I put down my spoon and glared at Dad, who had gotten up to pat Leslie's back to see if she was okay. The beautiful brownish-purple milk in my cereal bowl would go to waste now. I wasn't about to drink it, even if it was chocolate-flavored. Not with all the dust and newspaper bits flying around the room. "What do you think is going on?" I said. Chad knocked over Mom's newspapers when he slammed the door. Dad didn't answer. He just sat back down and took a bite of toast, dust and all. "Ugh, this is awful," he said, and I couldn't tell if he meant the dirty toast or the newspapers falling on Leslie. Dad chewed, swallowed, and shook his head before setting the toast back on his plate. That boy, I do hope he's careful on the road. He can be so reckless. You're the reckless one, I wanted to shout. You're the one who let Mom turn our kitchen into a death trap. And the kitchen isn't even the worst room in the house. It makes me want to scream. Instead, I sneezed. I sneezed 3 more times as I carried my bowl from the table to the kitchen sink and rinsed it out. We'll probably all die from inhaling newspaper dust full of some horrible airborne disease, like hantavirus, if the piles of junk don't crush us to death first. I guess I should have asked Leslie if she was all right, but I was too annoyed with Dad to say anything in front of him. He almost never puts his foot down with Mom. I was still sneezing when Mom, summoned no doubt by the crash, thud, thunk of her collapsing newspapers, waddled into the room. She wore one of her colorful muumuus, lime green with big orange flowers. You can always gauge Mom's mood by which muumuu she has on. Beware the pastels. What happened? Her voice cut through the sound of the running water. I turned to watch Mom fly into the kitchen. It may not look like it, but Mom can really move when she wants to. No, she said, rushing to Leslie's side. But instead of wrapping Leslie in her arms, she started gathering her newspapers. Which pile fell? She demanded. And that is the end of chapter 1. So, this is called Family Game Night and Other Catastrophes by Mary E. Lambert. If you're interested in this, feel free to come by the library, and I'm more than happy to help you check it out. Have a good day, and I'll see you next week. Thanks.